What's up, everybody? This is Blue Budgie 522, and we are back with Chapter 4 of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, we have found ourselves sucked into the game of Fort Condor, where Cloud and the gang have been transformed into their polygon version of themselves from the original Final Fantasy VII of 1997. Wow. So, we were getting introduced to playing the game because apparently our unit has lost their captain and now they're relying on us to help see them through. So, for those of you who have not played Fort Condor in the DLC or haven't even played Final Fantasy VII from the original Fort Condor, so here's how the game works. You essentially have these troops, and you could hire them with like guild that you've acquired or had donated to Fort Condor over the course of the original game. But in this case, it looks like we have a preset number. So this was like the Queen's Gambit of the DLC for Remake. Or you could say the Queen's Gambit was this version of the game, but whatever. So each of the characters has this little symbol in the bottom right of their avatar. It's going to be a shield, an arrow, crossbow, or a sword. And so in the middle of the screen at the top, you see that there's this triangle, and this tells you what each of these types of units are strong and weak against. So for example, Cloud is a shield unit. So he is going to be strong against sword types, but he is going to be weak against ranged attacks. So for Barrett, he's a ranger, so he is going to be strong against Cloud, who's the shield, but he's going to be weak against the sword type, like close range combat. And if we switch to Tifa, we can see that Tifa's got the sword, so she's close combat. So she would be strong against the ranged combat, but would be weak against the shield. So the way that you would play Fort Condor is you want to assemble a party that has a nice balance of what the enemy is weak against, and to limit the amount of characters that they would be strong against. So right now we have the Warlord, who has quite a lot of HP. Oh goodness. Oh, and then there's like these three icons at the bottom. If I remember correctly, so there's these little symbols. One of them's a castle, the other is a boot, and the third is a wing. So I think that I know that the boot means that they're ground enemies, so they can be on the ground. And then a wing would mean they are flying enemies, so these are ones that are in the air. And so let's say that you had a character that was on the ground, but they couldn't, but they had, like, say, the wing grayed out. That means that they can't reach the enemy in the air. So that was something else that you had to worry about too, was that you had to be mindful of which enemies had specific air units and whether they were able to reach them or not. So, gosh, oh, thank goodness. Oh wait, I think this is the tutorial from the other time. No, I don't think that's gonna help us here. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here. So we have Cloud, who's the shield, and he is able to reach units that are on the ground. He can't, since he's got the wing grayed out, that means that he can't hit enemies in the air. Barrett, on the other hand, has all three lit, so he is able to reach enemies that are in the air. So Cloud and Tifa are the same in that they can't reach air enemies. So we need to have at least Barret in our team to get flying enemies. So for us, we have the... so there was a headquarters and an outpost. So in at least in this version of Fort Condor, you had to take out the headquarters in order to win the game. Or whoever had like the most health at the end of the time limit won. In the original game, if they reached like your outpost, then you had to fight the warlord who came and try to infiltrate your fort. So that was actually a battle that you had to play with the original mechanics of like actually battling somebody. So, and not just within like a little polygon board game. But let's see. What's interesting is that on our side, we have things like a Vanguard and a Ranger, and on the other side, this is what we would be. These were the characters that you only had in the Fort Condor DLC. Like, we only had access to Shinra units. But it looks like we now have access to our Condor units, which I believe that these are the original Condor units in the game. Yeah, so Vanguards are our swords, Rangers are our crossbows, and the Enforcers are our shields. And we have a Cleric. That's pretty sweet. Alright. So what we were perusing through earlier was the ally units, which we have balance for now. The enemy here, let's take a look at our enemy. So both of our enemy warlords and outposts have all three of those icons highlighted. I can't quite remember what the castle is, but I'm going to assume that it's like mirroring what the sword, shield, and arrow are. Let's see. So they have 5 swords, 3 shields, 4 arrows, and no clerics. They have 3 that can't hit any flying enemies, but they do have a Helitrooper, and that's one that can only be hit by Barret. But let's see. So they have 1 Riot Trooper, 1 Blast Ray, 1 Electric Trooper, 1 Sweeper, 1 Cutter, 1 Grenadier, a Security Officer, and Elite Trooper. Alright, and then the way that it goes is they have health, which is next to the heart, and then I believe that the sword is how much damage they could do. There was something where there was a certain number that indicated if they can be summoned. But let's see. They have a balanced team, and we have a balanced team. Let's see. I'm going to assume that they're going to take it easy on us the first time around. Let's just go with our balanced offense. Oh, look, if you hold down X, then it tells you what they do. So, headquarters spews fireballs over a wide area. When enemies approach, you will lose the match if this unit falls. Outpost flings piercing pinions at approaching enemies. Losing this unit will not affect your chances at victory. I should have been doing this first and not try to explain it myself. Oh well. Vanguard, a standard close combat unit capable of striking and moving quickly. Elite Vanguard, close combat unit capable of striking and moving quickly. More expensive than a standard unit, but also more powerful. Oh, I think it's what... There's a number over here that's kind of highlighted in green with a wing. I think that's how expensive they are in the queue. So what'll happen is you'll get a certain number of points assigned where you can purchase these guys and put them on the battlefield and position them. So the more expensive they are, then the more time you have to wait until, almost like an ATB charge. You have to wait until your ATB charge is filled for that number before you are able to summon them. So Ranger is a standard unit that supports the front lines from the rear with ranged attacks. And then the Elite Ranger is a unit that supports the front lines from the rear with ranged attacks. More expensive than a standard unit, but also more powerful. An Enforcer is a standard close combat unit with a large amount of HP designed to defend the front lines. And the Elite Enforcer is a close combat unit with a large amount of HP, also to defend the front lines. More expensive, but also more powerful. So your elites are going to be like a beefed up versions of these guys on the left. And then your cleric is a support unit capable of firing magic attacks from a short distance. Heals nearby units when unleashing spells. You know what? Let's just begin the skirmish. It's gonna make a lot more sense, trust me, if we just start the match. Alright, here we go. There's our ATB. Okay. Oh, good. They're explaining this. Oh, thank goodness. Now I just feel silly going through the tutorial. Okay. So, Fort Condor deploying units. To deploy a unit, use the cursor to select a location on the battlefield and press X. Here you will enter tactical mode, where you can choose a unit. Take note of your opponent's deployment strategy located on the right side of the screen and plan accordingly. So ours is on the left over here. Okay. So a unit is assigned one of three roles: Vanguard the sword, Range the arrow, or Defense the shield. Pay close attention to these roles, as a unit will be effective against. You can view a diagram illustrating the relationships between these roles in the top right portion of the screen. Each unit also has an ATB cost. The stronger the unit, the more ATB is required for deployment. Okay, so we can see here that they have two range characters. And two sword characters. So they have two ranged on the left and two sword on the right. So what we want, well, I'm glad they have that, oh, we have a timer! Oh shoot, we have a timer! We want to, deploy some swordsmen out on the left and shields on the right. So let's see, let's do some swordsmen on the left. And then on the right, we're going to do some shields. There we go. Get him! Oh, let's help this out. So I'm choosing another enforcer on the right. There we go. Oh gosh. Okay, we gotta wait. All right. Let's add another, wait, Vanguard. There we go. Awesome. Let's add a cleric. Oh, nice. I don't think I had a cleric in the original one. Another Vanguard. See, these, once you know what it's doing, it goes very quickly. So you can see the cleric is healing the soldiers over there. Oh, we could probably use a cleric over here. Oh, and now they've got shields out. So now that they have shields, we need to have ranged characters. So let's put a ranger here. There we go. And what you do is, you can see this line over here. This is like, I forget what it's called, but you can call it the front line. So as your soldiers gain more ground, this line will push forward until you get into enemy territory. Oh my goodness, where's Cloud and the gang? So the game is saying, oh shoot, somebody lost like a bird outpost. So now they're saying, well, we need to do something about that. So now they have summoned, or is that me? That might be me. So we need more rangers here. And let's see, I am out of clerics. I had one cleric to my name. Oh, they have added a guy here, so I need to put a vanguard here. Okay. Oh shoot. So now they have another guy there. So another sword. So we need a shield. Enforcer! See, this goes very, very quickly. Oh man. I'm gonna need like an elite enforcer or something. They're actually an elite vanguard is what I need. Take care of that elite vanguard. Oh, okay, so here's a helitrooper. So this is one where we need somebody who's like can hit air guys. So they are swords, so we need a shield. Well, none of the shields can attack from up there, but let's see, we need somebody who at least here, we'll put an elite ranger over here in a bit. Because we need somebody to... You will lose if you cannot defeat the boss. Oh! That's not great. You'll lose if you cannot defeat the boss until unit before time runs out. As a skirmish draws to a close, the enemy will be unable to deploy new units, granting you the perfect opportunity to unleash an all-out assault. Okay. Well, first I need to protect this place. It's not ideal, but I only have one that can, like... Let's see. Deploying units with the same role as a hero unit will fill the hero's deployment gauge. Once this gauge is full, you'll be able to place the character on the field. Woo! That's cool! Note that these units can only be deployed once per skirmish. Well, Barrett, I'm gonna need your help! Barrett! How do I deploy you? Oh shoot, how do I deploy Barrett? How do I deploy Barrett? I should have been paying more attention! Oh, there we go. Hero units. Barrett! The only hero units placed on the field, they will unleash devastating tactical damage all enemies and buff allies. These units are immensely powerful and can easily turn the tide of battle, so knowing when and where to deploy them is key. Get a Barrett! Okay. We need to think fast. Okay. So we're gonna deploy Cloud, like, as soon as we gain more ground, right where the enemy is. Okay, Cloud, let's get you out here. There! Go, Cloud! Get him! Let's back you up! Everybody start attacking! Everybody! We've got 12 seconds left! Get him! This is like the hardest thing, is just watching as the clock ticks down. Oh man, it's gonna be close! Oh my gosh, look at that! 51 milliseconds! I can't believe we did it. I thought for sure we would not. Oh gosh. This was just tutorial though, but okay. So that was something new that they added, is adding Cloud and Barret to the field. I definitely needed both of them on the field. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we did it. I am shocked. Hey look in the background. You've got the Mako reactor, and then there's a giant cracked egg on top. So that's representative of the Condor nest on top of Fort Condor. Oh my gosh, you guys. I am shocked. I cannot believe we did that. Proto-relic manifested.
We did it! Victory's ours!
I can't believe it.
We owe it all to your gracious aid. We thank you.
You're welcome.
Fellow troopers, it would seem that our next battle is fast approaching.
No.
The enemy could launch another attack at any moment. Please, you must stay and help us fight.
Yeah, not again. Hey! The proto-relic!
What is that I spy?
Oh, one of those.
My memory is failing me, but intuition tells me that is the treasure I seek.
Are you Gilgamesh?
Unhand that, you rogues!
It is Gilgamesh! Look at his fake Buster Sword and battle thing. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, my head. Oh, okay.
The hell was that?
Right?
Call me crazy, but we were inside the game, weren't we?
That's impossible. It is impossible, right?
Chadley, you better explain this, Chadley.
Incredible! Simply incredible!
Uh-huh.
No phenomenon like this has ever been observed before. It was as if the very fabric of time and space was twisted. But how? And why?
Chadley, focus.
Please focus,
So what
Chadley.
now, little man? Proto-relic's gone. One of those punks in there swiped it.
Right. Of course. The proto-relic. It's faint, but I'm still tracking its signal. Which means a portal like the one you used to enter Fort Condor has opened elsewhere. We cannot ignore this amazing development.
You sure about that? We can totally ignore it. Oh my gosh. Phenomenon Intel 2, Flotsam and Jetsam. All the way down there, eh? Oh man, I think I'm gonna be sick, guys. Give me a moment. I need a moment. Oh, I'm glad it's quiet. I'm glad we have a quiet moment. I need a moment. Oh, well, I know that we went through that kind of fast, and I wish that I was better prepared for that moment. But, you know, when you get sucked into an alternative world where you're turned into a polygon of your original selves, forced into a battle that you had battled in the past, but was slightly different in the future, it's a lot to wrap your mind around. But, yeah, as much as as fast-paced as it was, that's usually how Fort Condor is sometimes. In the original game, you were actually... Cloud, Barret, and Tifa would essentially be at the top of Fort Condor, and the enemies would be coming up and climbing up the mountain of Fort to get to Fort Condor. So you would be deploying units near the top or getting close to the bottom so that they wouldn't reach the fort. I think it was that way. It was either top down or bottom up, but either way, if the enemy got to the fort, then you had to battle it like you would in the game with Cloud, Tifa, with whoever your party was at the time. And sometimes that was a strategy that people used, was to let the captain go up there and just take him out that way because your party was strong enough, instead of having to go through the whole Fort Condor, because Fort Condor does take a long time. But yeah, if you're not really into mini games, then Fort Condor was one of those games where it's like, I don't know. Really, you'd only get it for the huge materia. But they actually made some huge improvements with Fort Condor, and I played the dickens out of that game when I was playing as Yuffie in the DLC, and I quite enjoyed Fort Condor. But you saw towards the end how the tides can change so quickly, and like I thought we were gonna lose because my ATB wasn't charging enough, and the enemies were just coming, and you saw our battle line had gone all the way back to our side of the board. But once we had Barrett on the field and he nearly wiped out those two enemies, then we could gradually make our way towards the fort and then put Cloud there. And then Cloud and the others managed to wipe out their enemy line, and then all of them could go from the little Babby Eagle to the main boss in the middle. Because usually what they'll do is they will go after the little tiny eagles first, the outpost, before they get to the main one. And they actually had these Shinra dogs that would ignore like other enemies that were coming, so they would just go straight to the boss. And that was a strategy too in Fort Condor. But oh man. And it looks like whoever that boss was, that's the guy that we hallucinated when we dealt with Bex and his company. So yeah, they whoever that character is the one with that samurai looking mask. They really want that proto relic. And I am scared. I think that was Gilgamesh, because I didn't realize until he turned around, but he had like a fake Buster Sword on his back. In Final Fantasy 12, he would show up as like a side quest boss, and he had like Cloud's Buster Sword, but it had the word fake in kanji on the sword. So that's why I think that's Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is like a reoccurring boss character. But oh my gosh, I kind of want to stop the recording here and just do a double post of this, because I was not expecting that to happen during the playthrough, and I don't think that anybody would mind if I did a double post of this, because yeah, it's really hard to go from one to the other, and Fort Condor is just one of those things where kind of deserves its own episode of sorts. So I'll tell you what, we'll stop the recording here. This will be like a bonus episode. So we'll do like a double post the week that the previous video goes out. So enjoy that. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Fort Condor. Is this a mini game that you liked if you played Final Fantasy VII, either the original or the Rebirth DLC? Or is this something like, nah, I really could care less about this mini game? Either way, I'm going to have to go through it because, you know, I really don't have to, but those proto relics and my 100% completionist, that is like, I am so sorry, Cloud and the gang, for making you go through this. But hey, at least Cloud wasn't the only one that hallucinated this time. I now have witnesses to these shenanigans. So, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.